Hiring managers say we are looking for the right fit. Candidates say the interview went great and then there is no call from the HR. If you have ever wondered what really happens on the other side of the hiring table, today's episode is for you. Hi, job seekers. Welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Hear It From a Career podcast powered by My Job Factory, where job seekers stop guessing and start learning directly from the people who actually make hiring decisions. Our guest today has led HR across geographies, cultures, and high pressure sales environments. He is the Vice President HR for Europe, MEA, and Sales HR at ECU Worldwide, and also an alumni at IIT Delhi and IIM Calcutta. Today, we are going to talk about what senior HR leaders truly look for in candidates, why culture misfits happens, and how job seekers can build careers, not just crack interviews. So without wasting a single second, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's hear it from Jaspal Singh sir. Jaspal ji, we are thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, joining you for this very interesting discussion. If in any which way I can help job seekers, achieve their potential, in this corporate world, what better service can I have? Can I give?
Absolutely. But before I actually delve into the questions related to recruitment and hiring, I want to know, sir, looking back at your journey from IIT Delhi and IIM Calcutta to leading HR across Europe, MEA, and even HR sales functions, what were the defining career moments that shaped your leadership and made you a person that what you are today, sir?
Okay, lovely. So, it was firstly a big coincidence. It was accidental. My entry into HR, you can say, was purely out of ignorance. As an engineer, I had no idea about, young guy studying engineering, and then just following the trend. Everybody, around me, my seniors, my batchmates, talking about MBA. So I appeared for MBA. And by God's grace, I got through. During MBA also, because I was fresher, I had no work experience before I went for the MBA. I was very much influenced by what was the talk of the town, whatever was being discussed in the campus. For whatever reason, consulting as a prospect looked very exciting to me. The stories which my seniors would have told, those things were very exciting. So for some reason I got stuck on the idea of consulting, and I appeared for a summer internship interview for a company called Hewitt Associates, which was one of the leading HR consulting firms at that time, which later got acquired by Aon. And that's how my journey started. And I really enjoyed my time. And that's somewhere, you will realize the power of employer brand or the culture of the organization.
Yes.
That I was not from HR background. I did not even study, HR in my first year. But because I really, enjoyed my summer internship there, the care and the learning opportunities which were given to me during my summer internship. They offered me a pre-placement offer, and without hesitation, I accepted it. And that's how my journey started in HR.
Yes.
For the first few years, I did HR consulting, picked up the HR skills, and then moved to line HR roles.
Right.
To answer your question quickly on what have been some key highlights or key learnings. When you start your career, you are very much influenced by your education, whatever you have learned, in your campus life, etc. With time, you realize that your intelligence, problem-solving ability, analytical skills only count as much. Most important thing is how you are able to influence outcomes. And influencing outcomes then becomes more and more critical as you move up the ladder.
Okay, such an insightful answer. I quickly come to the next question, which is on the main crux of this podcast, hiring philosophy and talent evaluation. Sir, please tell us something beyond resumes and interviews. What truly convinces you that a candidate will succeed in the organization? What I mean by this question is, beyond those fancy designations and experiences, what is that thing which makes you say, yes, this is the right fit into my company and I want this in my team.
See, most of the organization, they operate with imperfect data, rapidly changing environment, competing priorities, and that creates an environment where the fitment of a candidate is not something which is cut, copy, paste, very structured and simple answer. Now, past experiences of a candidate, which is typically mentioned on the CV, they can kind of predict, the capabilities that what the person would have learned and what the person would have done.
Okay, right.
But it does not give you what the person can do in future. So that's the trick. That's the skill that the organization, the talent acquisition team has to build, is to assess what the person can do and draw the bridge from what the person has done in the past, whatever skills has been picked up, whether it is from experiences or academic preparation. And through that, we have to, through the interactions that we have in the hiring process, we have to build that bridge and predict what the person can do. And obviously, it has to be then in the very specific context of your organization.
Right.
A very successful person in organization A may not necessarily succeed in organization B.
Yes. Very, very apt. Yes, sir. Carry on, sir.
Sure. So, and there are a few things which I look at, when I look at the candidates. One very important thing that I look at is the learning agility and adaptability, because it's a dynamic world. Whatever is past, future is uncertain. Future will bring about new problems. Now, I would look for the person's ability to pick up the new things, learn, and join the dots to solve the problems of tomorrow. So that's one aspect. The second aspect I also look for, is especially for seniorish roles, is self-awareness, because very, very important for a person to really be self-aware and understand his or her, formula of success. And it is different for everybody. And then how you place yourself, adapt yourself in various situations in a flexible manner to place yourself for success. So those are the few things that I have in mind when I look at candidates.
Yes, such an apt and such a correct answer, sir. I have come across a lot of candidates who are qualified candidates. They have all the skills and experience, but then they don't still get selected in the final round. So from your point of view, what are the most common gaps you see in otherwise qualified candidates?
Very interesting question. See, pure skills and experiences which are evident when we say somebody is very qualified, we say that because we see that in somebody's CV, the things that the person has done in the past, and we draw out that what kind of skills and experiences the person has. They are essential. I would say these are entry gates. These are qualifying criteria, not the criteria for success.
Okay. Right.
Now, for success, we have to match now the alignment of the individual, the attitude, the personality of the individual with what is required in my organization. Many times when I reject a candidate, that doesn't mean that the person is not capable or person is bad in any which way. The person may be very capable, and I have done that in the past. I have referred some candidates to some of my other friends. When I remember, I met a guy, he was very good. You may want to try it out. Whereas I did not hire in my organization. The reason being that I knew the you may say the specific nuances of my role, which would have nuances at an organization level, which will have nuances at a department level, or even at a reporting manager level. You know, one does not operate in isolation. It's a team game. You have to operate in interaction and interdependency with other elements in the organization. So that is where assessment sometimes goes as
Right.
no, even when the profile looks very capable.
Correct. Such an apt and a practical answer, sir. Moving on to the next question. My next question is all basically cultural fitment and long term success. Sir, tell us something from your experience. Why do cultural mismatches happen even after structured interviews? I'm talking about not only structured interviews but also the total number of interviews also. And going forward again, how can candidates genuinely assess company's culture rather than just relying on surface level signals? So what I mean to say is, basically I've clubbed up two questions. How do you culturally assess a candidate, and then how can candidates also culturally assess the company, whether he's a cultural fitment into this organization or not?
Sure. See, cultural mismatches typically, they happen not because the interview process or the selection process has failed.
Okay.
They typically happen because culture is a very complex subject. Culture is a very subject which is not really standardized for the organization as a whole. Many a times when we are assessing somebody for the culture, we are looking for stated values or culture which has been defined by somebody, whether it is HR or whether it is the leadership team, and put on a piece of paper, put on the walls. That's a broad direction of the culture, but real culture is what happens at specific individual units.
Okay.
Within the larger organization, a department may have a different culture. The working style of the manager may be different. So it becomes difficult for us to say that we have assessed for the culture well, but still did not work. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is that sometimes when we are assessing somebody for the culture fitment, we are assessing for probably our aspired culture, not the real culture that exists. Because we have been talking about it. We want to have a culture of meritocracy. We are a culture of ownership. We have a culture of risk-taking ability. That's aspiration. We have to reflect and think.
Right.
Do we really have that culture?
Okay.
And for candidates and for even ourselves, if we have to, take a dipstick on what the culture is and whether the fitment would be fine or not. See, culture typically gets defined not by words. You can say whatever, but culture actually gets manifested by what gets tolerated in the organization, what gets rewarded in an organization, and what gets punished in an organization. What is a non-negotiable? You have to look at moments of truth on these aspects. What happened in such situations? That defines the culture, not the written English.
Okay, such a practical answer. My goodness, job seekers, if you are listening, this one was a very powerful answer. Sir, I move on to the next question, and which is basically based on real hiring challenges. Candidates not showing up on the date of joining has become very common, not only in the IT but in the non-IT sectors also. So what do you believe, what is the root cause, and how can organizations do differently to reduce the offer dropouts and joining failures, sir?
You touched on a very sensitive note here. I've myself suffered a lot on this aspect, and with the notice periods becoming 90 days, 60 days, it's and any dropout becomes a big derailer. So it's a big problem for the organization. But there are reasons for it. You mentioned root cause, right? I would say there are a few root causes. One is that the entire process of recruitment and the offer, the sending of an offer to the candidate, and then offer between offer and joining, the entire process is very transactional. As an organization, we are fulfilling a transactional responsibility that we have to hire. Let's do process step 1, 2, 3, release offer, somebody will join. Till the time it is very transactional and not, connect with the candidate and some sort of a connect at a purpose level, at a motivation level, at an aspiration level with the candidate, this problem will continue. See, because there are 3 months of notice period. 3 months is a long time.
Long time, sir.
I also know organizations which consciously target people who are sitting with an offer because they want somebody to join quickly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I sometimes get calls from consultants who tell me that there's a great guy. He's already serving notice. He will fit very well in your, this role or that role. Why don't you consider him? He will join within 1 month also. The entire ecosystem will work like this. Everybody is working on, maximizing, their own potential, their own benefit. So what will help is to create that connect with the candidate at a purpose level, that why joining my organization is the right decision for you and for your career in the long run.
Okay.
You can go and find another job anytime. Nobody can stop you. You are capable. I'm sure you will get it. But will that give you the pedestal which I am able to offer in this role? So that connect is something which will then discourage people to shop around because they are convinced this is the right role for me.
So employer branding will play a key role in this phenomenon of candidates not showing up on the date of joining. There is one more hiring pain point which I wanted to ask this question also. Longer time to hire is another challenge globally. So how do you balance speed with quality, and from the candidate's perspective, how should they interpret a prolonged hiring process?
Speed and quality, some people think that they're opposites. That if you want to do a high quality job, then it will take a lot of time. That's not true. Actually, mostly the speed gets compromised in the hiring process because of lack of clarity on what we want. So if you spend some time, reflect on what is it that we are looking for, what is the role, what is the expectations from this role, what would be the KPIs, what would be the key success factors, what would be the key risks in this role, what are the key interdependencies in this role which can cause enabling effect or a disabling effect. If we are able to articulate that and get clarity on this, then we can very quickly finish the hiring process. Because what typically happens is that we don't spend that important time at the beginning to reflect and articulate what is needed, and we go on a discovery journey in parallel. We'll meet candidates, we will reflect, then we will think, in the context of that individual, and then we'll say, this also sounds good, let's maybe, tweak the role like that. Those things take time. Secondly, many organizations or many managers are risk averse, and to mitigate that risk aversion or rather mitigate that risk, they add more number of interviews. कि आप भी मिल लीजिए, आप भी क्यों नहीं मिल लेते इससे? Can you also please meet this candidate?
Yes.
I mean, my philosophy is that whatever round of interactions, whatever assessment method that you want to deploy, whether it is interview or assessment or psychometric, define the purpose. If L1 manager is meeting a candidate, what is my expectation from the L1 manager? What are you going to assess for? If L2 is meeting, what are you going to assess for? If some other person has to meet, what are you going to assess for? Let's put a structure to this, and that would really help in cutting down on these unnecessary steps and the unnecessary delays. And you ask me what candidates think about it. It doesn't really work very well for the hiring process, because if there is a delay, candidates typically, when they enter a process, they enter in a momentum. they have kind of made up their mind that I like this and I want to like go ahead and put my best foot forward and move on in life. Nobody wants to put the feet into different boats. I have to perform in my current organization also, be focused here, contribute here, and in parallel recruitment process is also going on. This is a very disturbing time for this individual. So hence they will also lose interest, and this also signifies that the company is also not clear. Probably I'm not valued that much. If you show speed, if you are able to quickly come back to the candidate and go ahead and close quickly, it also gives quite confidence to the candidate that company is clear on what they want.
Yes,
I'm the right fit. They like me. I want to go there.
Yes. Such a practical answer, job seekers. If you are listening, then there is one HR person who actually understands the pain point of multiple rounds of interviews. I quickly move on to the next question, and which is basically on candidate personas. Sir, I want to know: do you see or do you hire and see distinct candidate personas today? Like for example, candidates who are purpose-driven, stability-seeking, or growth-focused. And how should candidates leverage self-awareness in their career decisions?
Human beings are complex creatures. Every individual is different, in their own way.
Yes.
And it is built through the experiences and the upbringing the individual may have had, or maybe God has made them in some particular manner. All of that is there. But I would say that there are some archetypes that are being observed, but I would not say that 100% population fits into this, but let's say majority I would say fits here. One I see is like purpose driven or impact driven. They want to change the world, they want to solve a big problem of this world, so they are very passionate toward that, to that purpose, and they will get aligned with the organization or a role which solves the the purpose or the problem that they are passionate about. So that's one type. And these are the guys who would probably maybe make a trade-off on the compensation also. They would want to do this, right? Second archetype that I have observed are growth oriented. People who want to learn, want to grow, and their aspirations is like to growing in the corporate ladder and solving bigger problems and playing a bigger game. And the third category is people who seek stability and security.
Right.
Now the important thing is, when you ask me, what candidates should reflect upon, first is they should also introspect on what is important to them. They should introspect what is their expectation from their career. Do they fit into one of these archetypes, or they have another archetype? But at least articulate that for yourself, so that when you are exploring an opportunity, you are able to match it well. If you are, let's say, really seeking stability because of your personal situation, etc., and you go and interview for a high growth, high risk, and high risk, high reward kind of a role, it will not work. So it's important for you to do that. Another aspect is that these are not permanent. The archetype to which the individual fits in may change over time. It may not happen every day, but let's say what you were when you were 28 may not be the same when 48. So periodically do this exercise of introspecting and reflecting on what is valuable for me, and then find a suitable opportunity for yourself.
Such a practical answer. Sir, moving forward, sir, I want to know, what is, let's, stretch this question a bit ahead. What is that uncomfortable, truth about careers and hiring that job seekers need to accept? Would you like to share, a few things? Because hiring is very difficult, both for the recruiters also and for the job seekers also, sir.
I think one uncomfortable truth which these job seekers should accept is that many a times the hiring decisions are not purely meritocratic. They're not purely on the basis of, the profile, the skills, the competence that you bring to the table. Don't lose heart. Many a times it is because of factors which are beyond simple meritocracy. I mean, it's about the timing, the business context, the manager risk appetite, team composition, gap in that team. You may be the best person, but you are exactly the same what already exists. I'm looking for somebody else. Let's say a simple example. One can be, let's say, a great thinker, strategizer, and one can be great executioner. I have a great thinker and strategizer in my place who has ability to, forecast and ability to plan things for success. But he's not the best person for execution. Execution requires a different sort of mindset. So I'm now looking at somebody who's a great executioner who once understood, what the strategy is, would influence here, there, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, and figure out the way to succeed and get it done. Now, if I'm looking for the executioner and you are the best strategy guy, it's not because you are bad. It's because I don't need that skill. I need something else.
Absolutely.
So, my message to, again, the job seekers would be self-awareness, introspection, reflection is very, very important. Once you have, had the interaction with the hiring managers, etc., reflect on what happened. Reflect on what could have gone better. Reflect on what they were seeking and what you bring to the table. And improvement is a continuous journey. Work on it. And there will be definitely another place where it will definitely align with who you are, what you want.
Correct.
And
absolutely.
Where you will succeed.
Yes, it does work. Sir, moving forward to the next question, I see some candidates, who are on a continuous, successful journey in their job. So from your point of view, if can you share something, if there is one habit or a, personality trait or a behavior that consistently accelerates careers, what would it be like,
It's actually quite simple. Sometimes the great things are in straight eyesight and you miss it. How do you grow? You grow by expanding your horizons, expanding your competence, by getting more exposure. So people who take ownership, people who do beyond role compliance, people who want to take up extra responsibilities,
Correct.
Stretch a little bit.
Correct. Absolutely.
Find ways to be more efficient and do their, defined role quickly and spare their bandwidth to experiment more, read more, talk to their manager, pick up a new project. Those things gives, the exposure. You start learning more. You start expanding your horizons and you're picking up skills. Another, thing that I like is, people should speak to their managers and help their managers by taking up some of their load. Do the job of your manager. Manager.
Absolutely. Bang on, sir. Bang on. Yes.
It will release the bandwidth of the manager, and manager also will do the same. Will try bigger things, and that's how the entire organization will operate at a higher level. And in this process, everybody builds skills, everybody builds competence, and they are ready for growth. Once you have already operated at your boss's level, or you're already doing 20-30% of your boss's job, you're ready for promotion, right?
Absolutely. Sir, you have actually spilled the beans. Job seekers, if you are listening, this is one secret and one very practical idea which you can actually implement and get a trajectory growth. Sir, I come to the last but not the least question. What message would you like to leave for job seekers, who are navigating uncertainty right now, facing rejections and, eventual self-doubts?
I think I'll come back to the point that every individual is different. Individuals need to have a good understanding of self. They need to understand what are the trade-offs that are relevant for them. They need to understand what are their strengths, where they can really, excel, operate in, stressful situations, operate under pressure and still deliver, and what are the areas which give them, which drain energy from them. So understanding yourself is very important. What sort of roles, what sort of tasks excite you, and what sort of things really do not align well with you.
Correct.
Having an understanding of yourself is is very much important. After that, you need to appreciate that it's a rejection is not a reflection of your job worth or your worth. It's about alignment of your unique priorities, your unique styles, and your unique, operating styles and skills with what is required in the job. So if you have a good self-reflection and understanding of what will give you success, what you will enjoy, what you will be able to do, and what kind of organization you will be able to give a long amount of time, it will be easier for you to go and find the right opportunities. It will be easier for you to ask the right questions. Recruitment is not a one-way process. It is not the company always selecting a candidate. The candidate is also selecting the company.
Right, absolutely.
So if you just sit there waiting to be selected, most probably you will have, have a tough time.
Right.
You have to be proactive. You also have to make the selection decision proactively by asking the right questions or catching the right signals. Many times candidates don't have as many questions to ask because the interview is lopsided towards the interviewer.
Okay.
But you do get an opportunity to ask one or two questions, but still you will catch signals in the conversation.
Yes, such a practical and an apt answer. All right, Jaspal sir, we have spoken about strategy, cultures and careers. Now it is time to move fast. This is my favorite round, rapid fire. No long thinking, no corporate filters, short questions, honest answers, straight from your heart. My first rapid fire question to you goes right now. Resume or LinkedIn profile, what do you check first?
Resume.
Wow. One skill job seekers underestimate the most.
I think persistence.
Okay. One red flag that makes you pause during an interview.
It comes in the CV. Frequent job hops.
One green flag that instantly builds confidence in a candidate.
When I see focus on impact, focus on results. When somebody doesn't talk about just activities that the person has done, but also concludes that by saying that this was the outcome, this was the result.
Okay.
That tells me the person has persistence and has done the things to get the milestone.
Yes. One mistake candidates often make while negotiating job offers.
I think one has to understand that the compensation is a factor of multiple things. One is
right.
What is the right price for the job that you are applying for, right? I mean, you can ask whatever, but if it does not fit the right price, it becomes a problem.
I move on to the next question. One question every candidate should ask in an interview, but usually doesn't.
I think the trade-offs that the company makes, like for example, what behaviors get rewarded fastest in your organization?
Okay, shit. Okay, fine. Last rapid fire question goes to you right now. One piece of advice you would like to give your 25-year-old self.
I would say read more.
Okay,
you have to open your horizons and build more knowledge here.
Absolutely. Okay, Jaspal ji, thank you so much for reminding us that HR is not about policies and processes. It's about judgment, context, and people. And for everyone watching, if you thought hiring was complicated, today you have learned it's actually thoughtful. And if you are a job seeker, the message is very simple. Stop guessing and start understanding. This was Let's Hear It From, where careers get real advice and not just generic motivation. Viewers, if this conversation has helped you think differently about your career, please subscribe to the channel, share this episode with someone who's job hunting, and drop a comment with one question with your wish HR leaders answered more honestly. So viewers, bye for now. Please take care and see you soon in the next episode of Let's Hear It From. Yes, done. Let me just